we're in a lot of trouble. We're in a lot of trouble. Okay, I'm not loyal to any political party. Okay, let me be very clear. I practically worship JFK, so nobody can say I don't like Democrats. So if you're a good Democrat, great. Gavin Newsom, I'll stand behind you, brother. You know what? Do some good things. Start ending homelessness in California and let that set an example for the rest of the country. I don't care if you call yourself socialist thinking, a liberal, and a Democrat. I'll stand behind you, man. But just, let's be honest. Let's be intellectually honest. Otherwise, we're all liars. We're all satanic. I mean, let's just, be honest and say there are fixes, and also say, yeah, but there's all these powerful forces that are against it. We got to talk about the implications of fixing problems and how this would be a wonderful thing in terms of for the regular people out there that need it to be, better for them, because it just gets harder and harder. The noose around their neck just gets tighter and tighter. The nut keeps getting harder and harder to crack. The bar keeps getting harder and harder to reach. They need some relief. Okay, so we've got to have a cost of living deflation. Our cost of living must go down. But we know that there's people that are opposed to that. They don't want the cost of living to go down. And they're going to be in there saying how bad it is, how depressionary and recessionary it is to see cost of living deflation, that the only good thing, without saying it even, is that inflation. We need the prices to keep going up because it benefits these huge swaths of people in these segments. And could you imagine if housing prices started going down, the tax base would go down and all this, and oh my God, all these people would be out of work. And you understand how maddening this is? They have literally normalized madness. The normalization of madness at the hands of freaks, man. I mean, these people they're murderous thugs and gangsters as far as I'm concerned. They're fascist. Your Nancy Pelosi types, I don't have any regard for these people. Look, we're going to see through you. The snowball effect of real knowledge coming to the people. You people are exposed to the light of day. We know the only card you have up your sleeve is that, well, we've got to keep the people poor. It's not that there's not plenty to go around and everybody could be prosperous at this point in the industrial age. I mean, 150 years ago, that could have been the state. We could have had full prosperity. Okay? Shortly after the beginning of the industrial age, when we could supply vastly more than we were demanding. The public could have all the things that they needed and the things that they wanted. Everything their little hearts desire. They could be 100% financially free, prosperous, secure, and end of story. Okay, that could have been the state of affairs. And it has everything to do with the advancement of knowledge and progress and the ability to create more than we ever use, the supply and demand. If we have a perpetual oversupply, you do the math, then you're going to have the prices decline, which is what they don't want. They don't want you to figure out that's the path to freedom, the best path. So when I bring up a universal income as a way to thwart these people, I mean, whatever it takes to skin the cat. There are ways to skin the cat, though. Yeah, and you're going to put checks and balances. Well, what do you mean we got a universal income based on their housing costs, their food costs, their energy costs, and drinkable water costs? Just those four things we're going to include. We're going to make sure everybody is secure from 18 on up, okay? Then you have a right to those. Yes, I'm all for it. I'm down. My heart is pure and clean. I'm an egalitarian. I just say it's a thus saith the Lord thing. Biblically, don't tell me I'm a socialist. Don't tell me, no, I already laid out how I'm not a socialist. I'm opposed to stealing. And that's basically what we're talking about. Robin Hood sounds very virtuous. Okay? I've got a daughter that's been firmly enamored with Robin Hood, and I totally get it. Who doesn't get it? It makes sense. It's the right thing to do. I mean, Robin Hood's exalted as a good guy and everything. And right, they cared about the people. It's heart-rending and heart-wrenching. And you just say, okay, man, I'm for socialism because that's what the rob take from the haves, give to the have-nots. That's logical. That's reasonable. But it doesn't work because the well-heeled, again, they just find attorneys to find them loopholes and to evade paying the bills of society. So we know it doesn't work over and over and over again around the world. Wherever, they think that's the path to setting the captives free, they find out it isn't. So the only hope is true capitalism. Now, the good capitalists out there have not been strong enough in pointing out how we have not had capitalism in America since they murdered JFK. Free market? Our plunge protection teams, is that capitalism? Is that free market? So no more risk. That's one of the hallmarks of true capitalism, is plenty of risk. And then the bailout of '08, you're going to call that. And so all these people go along, I'm a capitalist, all these socialists are dumb idiots and they're evil and they're bad and they're going to turn us into Venezuela and they just want hands out and they want the government handouts and they want the government to fix everything for them. Without talking about what's turned all these people into proponents of socialism. We're not going to have that discussion, are we? About crony capitalism and how it's injustice. What do you think? It's utter, in-your-face, glaring economic injustice. It's stealing the wealth of the people of the nation right under their noses. They've normalized this stuff. And there's not enough good, decent capitalists out there to say, no, it's not capitalism. It's the antithesis of capitalism. It's fascism. It's crony capitalism. That's what fascism is. Crony capitalism is a form of fascism. And then the government's involved. We've got all these colluding special interest groups. The government's a special interest group. They benefit from the taxes going up. Who can say? Anybody that works for city, county, state, or federal government? No, that's a fact. It's the truth. It's a reality. Nobody can argue it. I'm making a point. And then when you get them colluding, that's fascist with other special interest groups, and even if it's silent collusion, that they know. I mean, the people in the real estate industry and in the lending industry, they all say, well, we know it's good to drive up housing costs because our jobs are based on a commission, which is based on a percentage. So it's, we don't have to think too much about this. We're all on the same page. We're in lockstep. Yes, this is our will. This is what we want. Perpetual inflation. This is the only answer. This is the trajectory. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. The currency debasement, the poverty, the wealth imbalance just keeps growing. And the Federal Reserve, these people are the kingpins. They murdered JFK, in my opinion. The people I trust and believe, from their deep research, is absolutely, whether it was through the CIA or the FBI, black hats. A tiny amount of people working in the CIA, a tiny amount of people working in the FBI maybe. Okay, that's all it takes. That's the critical mass to get the amount needed to get the job done. That's the critical mass. That is the amount needed to keep this ship steered into destruction. They're controlling the rudder and they control the linkage in between the helm and the rudder. And you understand, that's it. So it's a small amount of people that are steering this ship of fools to destruction. And, I, for one, am not going along with it, okay? I'm not. And I encourage everybody to jump ship. And you can only do it in your heart and mind at this point because we've all been dragged upon this ship of fools physically. We all have to pay this cost of living tax. That's what I mean. So the only way you can jump off it is metaphorically in your heart and mind. Say, I'm done, man. God, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And show me what that is. Prepare me for the world of tomorrow. What's to come? Okay, and understand, money's not going to exist. Do you understand what a departure from the current paradigm, that alone, just that one fact, no money, most people can't even conceive of it. They say that porpoises are more intelligent than humans. I mean, we could debate that. Nevertheless, they've got no use for money. You see, do they show any interest in such a substance? You understand? No, why would they? Especially if they could see the wreckage it's caused over the ages for humanity. God, it's made us all evil. So it's got to go. If you want to be found worthy and deserving and inheriting a better world, you've got to, keep your eye on the prize. You don't want to miss the mark. You got to get this thing. That's it. That's what we're after, is getting off the money completely, off the heroin, off the junk, man. And we've all been mainlining it as a race, as a species for thousands of years. Do you understand? Even King Solomon had pointed out, he didn't agree with it, but he said, look, it's the answer to everything. The answer for everything is money. Yes, of course it is. I mean, are we taught that, anything else? I mean, it's just, this is it, man. Money is it. It's what it's all about. You've got to focus on money. This is where your freedom is. This is where your security is. Money. You go out, get a great education for the sole purpose of making a lot of money. That's it, man. It's all about money. That's success. That's how it's defined secularly. And there's no way to avoid this thing. Death and taxes. You got to pay your cost of living. That is a tax. Nobody can avoid it. So don't miss the mark, my friends. You cannot believe in inequality a little bit. It's like believing I'm a little bit pregnant. No, you either are or you're not. If you believe a little bit in inequality, You're going to the place where all these evil doing elitist scumbags are going, okay? And the most evil ones are the deliberately evil ones, okay? And we don't know who they are. Humans don't have the wisdom to pick out those people. You can say, I'm pretty darn sure this person is just diabolical. They're like evil genius, okay? That's okay. You by their fruits, you just say yes. You expose them, and the Bible says that you have a duty to expose the fruitless deeds of darkness, and at the same time have nothing to do with them. But it's hard to get into the minds of these evil, murderous criminals, this gaggle of merciless, ruthless thugs that are running the show, that are steering the ship of fools. We're in a lot of trouble, and the only thing at some point you can do is save yourself. And that means just right now you purify your heart. You're still stuck on the ship of fools, kicking and screaming, as it may be, like for me. Say, no, I just want to be free, man. I know there's a better way. And if God had his way, here's how it would be. It's clear as the light of day. God doesn't hide stuff. His will is right there in your face. He wants the best for his children. It's logical. It's reasonable. A child can understand that. Okay? And the system would work fine if we were all rich. It would release all the innovations, the disruptive technologies out there, all these patents nobody would care about if there was no money that was an obstacle to releasing all these patents. Do you understand? So clean perpetual energy. So these people have no argument at the end of the day that are deliberately keeping us poor. They don't want everybody taking their stuff. That's how they think. They're elitist. So do you want to go to the same place those people are going when God comes and judges people, even if it's just today when they die? And that's their last chance they got. They missed their window of opportunity to have a good, decent, pure heart. Okay? And they're going to hell because they believe in inequality. Remember, to any measure, whether you believe a lot or a little, like these elitists, the Al Gore types who come off real smooth, they're very good talkers. Your Obama type, very good talkers. But you ever hear them talking about poverty being the problem and how we got to end homelessness and they're ashamed of it? No, but Trump does. Okay? I mean, God help us. God help us. We're in a lot of trouble. Remember, Scripture says the path to destruction is broad, and many are those who enter on it. Few are those that find the path to salvation. I mean, your heart has to be 100% pure. It can't be 99% pure. So if you believe in 1% inequality, do you understand? Then you're an elitist, and you're going to the same place with the rest of those elitists, the hypocrites, with the weeping and the gnashing of teeth. So I don't want anybody's blood on my hands or head. So I'm explaining this thing, and you can't refute it. So you know what? If you didn't jump ship, okay, and say it was God that inspired me, because God's the one that's inspired me to say these things. So don't give me any glory. I don't give a crap. I just want to be a good friend to humanity. I just want progress, man. I want us to fix our damn problems at all costs. And if it means massive layoffs, so be it. Nobody should care. If the problems are fixed, they're fixed. Okay, point. If you did end desperate poverty in America, this is what would happen. Look at America as a microcosm of the rest of the world, because the rest of the world would fix their problems. Because once you let one ant stand up, they all stand up. Okay, like that's taken from A Bug's Life, right? So immediately, crime would plummet. You'd have a kinder, safer, gentler society if you ended desperate poverty through a universal basic income. So you could afford, nobody ever was insecure, not a moment in their lives that they were ever worried about paying their basic cost of living. You understand? We could have had that a long time ago. Maybe 300 years ago, we couldn't have had it. It was tougher, okay, because we didn't have the industry. We didn't have the state-of-the-art equipment. I mean, one farmer couldn't plow a field that it took, 300 years ago, it took 100 men and ox and plow to, for example. You understand? That's the point I'm making here, so that you understand why today what I'm saying is very relevant, that we're all without excuse to understand that we could have prosperity, full prosperity. There's never been a point in history when America didn't have a willing workforce. So if you did have a universal basic income, nobody was living insecure. We all served, we all worked for each other, doing stuff that we chose to do on our terms, dictated from our conscience that God gave us, the default, right? The computer, in the computer sense, because default means different things. I'm talking about, this is what is a fail-safe thing. It goes into default mode. So by default, we have a conscience that we gravitate to because we want to please each other. God made us to do that, to want to care about each other. That's the love that God has shown us, that we have an instinct to want to show each other. So we're not going to be naturally self-serving, decadent, lazy, pissant slobs. We're going to find stuff to do to contribute, to be appreciated. That's what we like to do. King Solomon talked about this, and it makes sense. Not only at the end of your days are you going to be more fulfilled, but during the days, the few days upon the earth, this is what brings us the most fulfillment and gratification, is to give our lives to others in service, and to be appreciated thusly. Okay, that's it. That's it. So not only at the end of your days are you going to be glad that you worked and served your fellow man in some capacity, but right in the here and now, you're gonna have the gladness of heart you're gonna experience, that you're contributing, and that you were appreciated for contributing.